The rain-slashed windows of the 42nd floor conference room trembled as thunder cracked like a judge's gavel. But inside, Alex Harper's heart pounded louder. Louder than the storm that had trapped him here after hours with the new guy from accounting. "I can't do this anymore," the man whispered, his voice breaking like fragile glass, eyes locking onto Alex's with a desperation that screamed secrets too heavy to hold. In that frozen instant, as lightning etched their shadows against the glass, Alex realized this wasn't just a confession. It was the unraveling of everything he thought he knew about trust. Alex had always played it safe in the cutthroat world of Manhattan finance, where deals were sealed with handshakes that hid knives and smiles concealed the grind of ambition. At 28, he was the golden boy of Sterling and Voss, a mid-level analyst with a corner cubicle that overlooked the Hudson, earned through late nights fueled by black coffee and the quiet ache of being the only out gay man on his floor. His weekends blurred into grinder swipes and half-hearted brunches with friends who pretended to understand the isolation of corporate closets. Some voluntary, most not. But that Monday in June, when the elevator dinged open on the trading floor, everything shifted. The new hire stepped out like he'd been sculpted from the pages of a GQ spread. Tall, with tousled dark hair that fell just so over piercing blue eyes, a jawline sharp enough to cut through boardroom bullshit, and a navy suit that hugged his frame like it was tailored for sin. "Ethan Caldwell," he said, extending a hand that was warm, firm, calloused in a way that spoke of weekends hiking the Appalachians rather than scrolling spreadsheets. His smile was easy, disarming, the kind that made Alex's pulse stutter, until Ethan leaned in during the welcome tour, murmuring low enough for only Alex to hear, "I saw your pin, pride flag on your lanyard. Finally, someone who gets it in this Shark Tank." It was the pin, a tiny enamel rainbow Alex had worn defiantly since his first promotion, a middle finger to the heteronormative haze of expense account dinners and golf outings. No one else had ever clocked it, let alone called it out. Ethan's words landed like a lifeline tossed into choppy waters, pulling Alex under with a rush of relief and something dangerously close to hope. By lunch, they were huddled in the break room, trading stories over lukewarm turkey wraps. Ethan's escape from a conservative family in Boise, Idaho, where coming out had meant disowning and a one-way Greyhound to NYU. Alex's own quieter rebellion, raised by a single mom in Queens who baked rainbow cookies for his high school prom date, but never quite grasped the boardroom battles. "You're braver than you think," Ethan said, his knee brushing Alex's under the table. A fleeting touch that sent sparks up Alex's spine. "Most guys here? They'd sooner leak your emails than share a beer after hours." Alex laughed it off, but inside, the walls he'd built against workplace flirtations cracked just a little. For the first time in years, the office felt less like a battlefield and more like a possibility. That week blurred into a rhythm of stolen glances across the bullpen, post-it notes with doodled coffee cups left on keyboards, and after-work drinks at the Oak Room, where the bourbon flowed amber and the jazz hummed low. Ethan was a revelation. Whip-smart with numbers, but with a poet's soul that quoted Whitman between quarterly reports. He talked about wanting to start a queer employee network, something real, not just a checkbox for HR. And Alex found himself nodding, dreaming of allyship that didn't feel like lip service. On Friday, as they stumbled out into the humid night, Ethan's hand grazed Alex's lower back. Guiding, protective, and Alex didn't pull away. Their first real date was impulse, born of a canceled client meeting and a text that read, "Rooftop bar? No suits, just us." Alex arrived at the press lounge in jeans and a Henley, heart hammering as he spotted Ethan at a corner table, city lights painting his face in gold. They talked for hours about the hypocrisy of Wall Street's diversity initiatives that tokenized queer hires while burying them in back-office roles, about the exes who'd ghosted when ambition trumped vulnerability. Ethan's laugh was a low rumble, infectious, and when he reached across the table to trace Alex's knuckles, the world narrowed to that point of contact. "Your trouble?" Alex murmured, but his voice was thick with want. Ethan grinned, eyes darkening. "The best kind." They kissed under the awning as rain began to patter, soft and tentative at first, then deepening with the promise of more. It was electric, the kind of kiss that rewrote lonely nights into something shared, something possible. By midnight, they were back at Alex's walk-up in Chelsea, not rushing but savoring. The brush of fingers on collarbones, whispered affirmations in the dark. It wasn't about heat. It was about home, the quiet miracle of two men finding each other in a city that chewed up dreams. As July unfurled, their worlds intertwined like vines on a fire escape. Weekends meant brunches at the Butcher's Daughter, where Ethan devoured avocado toast while Alex sipped mimosas, debating indie films over plates of eggs. Ethan had a Polaroid camera, snapping candids of Alex's midlaugh against graffiti walls in the village, tucking the photos into his wallet like talismans. At work, they were professionals. Ethan's desk 2 rows over, their emails crisp and coded with inside jokes. But the undercurrent hummed, a secret symphony that made meetings bearable. One evening, after a brutal earnings call where their boss, the reptilian Victor Lang, had eviscerated the team for soft projections, Ethan pulled Alex into the stairwell. "Screw him," he growled, backing Alex against the cool concrete, their breaths mingling. "You're brilliant. We both are." The kiss that followed was fierce, a rebellion against the fluorescent drudgery, and Alex melted into it, fingers tangling in Ethan's hair. For the first time, he let himself believe in more than survival, in partnership, in a future where love didn't have to hide behind NDAs. But cracks appeared subtly, like hairline fractures in glass. Ethan started missing calls, blaming family drama back home, his phone buzzing with texts he silenced too quickly. Alex chalked it up to the ghosts of Boise, offering space and shoulder rubs that turned into late-night confessions. "My brother's getting married," Ethan admitted one night, curled against Alex's chest in the glow of string lights. "Straight as an arrow, church wedding, the works. Dad wants me there as the successful son, not the queer one." Alex held him tighter, murmuring, "You don't owe them that mask." Ethan's silence stretched, heavy, but he nodded, pulling Alex closer as if to anchor himself. The first real storm hit in August, during Pride Month's afterglow when the office rainbow banners still fluttered like forgotten flags. Alex had pitched the queer network idea to HR, buoyed by Ethan's encouragement, only to get a polite email. "Under review, timing sensitive." Crushed but undeterred, he vented to Ethan over pizza in Washington Square Park. "It's like they want us invisible," Alex said, picking at a pepperoni. Ethan's face tightened, fork pausing midair. "Maybe it's protection. Rock the boat too hard, and you capsize." The words landed wrong, laced with something Alex couldn't name, caution or calculation. He brushed it off, but the seed of doubt took root. That weekend, they escaped to Fire Island, a spontaneous ferry ride across the bay where dunes whispered secrets and bonfires crackled with laughter. Hand in hand on the beach, waves lapping at their bare feet, Ethan dropped to one knee. Not with a ring, but a conch shell, grinning like a boy. "For the man who makes me believe in horizons," he said, pressing it into Alex's palm. They made love under the stars, slow and reverent, bodies mapping each other's scars. The faded track marks from Ethan's college rebellion. The appendix scar Alex hid under polos. It was sacred, a vow unspoken, and as dawn painted the sky pink, Alex whispered, "I love you," the words slipping out like breath. Ethan froze, then smiled, soft and shattering. "I love you too." But in the ferry back, as Manhattan's spires loomed, Ethan's phone lit up again. "Dad, we need to talk. Urgent." He silenced it, but the shadow lingered. Back in the city, work ramped up, mergers swallowing weekends whole. Ethan threw himself into a high-stakes deal, the kind that could rocket him to VP, his eyes alight with a hunger Alex hadn't seen before. "This could change everything," he said one night, pacing Alex's living room, laptop glowing like a false idol. Alex nodded, proud but uneasy, the distance growing in inches. Missed dinners, curt texts. When Alex confronted him, Ethan pulled him close. "It's temporary. For us, imagine the life we could build." The promise soothed, but Alex lay awake after, listening to Ethan's snores, wondering at the weight behind those words. September brought crisp air and a whisper of fall, but the office air thickened with rumors. Victor Lang was gunning for a promotion, poaching talent like a vulture, and Ethan's star rose fast. Late meetings with the execs, whispers of Caldwell's our guy. Alex cheered him on, but jealousy gnawed, irrational and sharp. One Thursday, after Ethan bailed on their planned gallery opening, Alex drowned sorrows at a dive bar in Hell's Kitchen, where drag queens lip-synced to Gaga and shots burned away the sting. Stumbling home, he found Ethan waiting on the stoop, rain-soaked and apologetic, a bouquet of wilted daisies in hand. "I screwed up," Ethan said, voice raw. They fought then, words like barbs. Alex accusing him of prioritizing the latter over them. Ethan snapping back about sacrifices for security. It escalated, voices echoing in the stairwell, until Ethan grabbed Alex's shirt, pulling him into a kiss that tasted of desperation and salt. "Don't leave me," he begged against Alex's lips. "You're all I have that's real." They tumbled inside, making up with touches that mended more than words. But the fracture lingered, a fault line waiting to shift. As leaves turned gold, their love deepened in defiance. Thanksgiving at Alex's mom's, where she enveloped Ethan in hugs and served turkey with extra gravy, declaring him family now. Ethan teared up, excusing himself to the balcony, and Alex found him there, staring at the skyline. "No one's ever said that to me," he admitted, voice small. Alex wrapped arms around him from behind. "Get used to it." In that moment, cocooned in wool sweaters and city hum, Alex believed they were unbreakable. But October crept in with shadows. Ethan's absences stretched, client dinners, strategy sessions, and his charm at work sharpened, a blade honed for ascent. Alex overheard snippets in the copier room. "Caldwell's discreet, knows how to play the game." Discreet. The word twisted like a knife. One night, scrolling Ethan's forgotten phone while he showered, Alex saw the texts. From Victor. "Keep it quiet. We close this, you're in." Heart sinking, he pocketed it, doubt blooming into dread. The breaking point came mid-November, during a team-building retreat in the Catskills. Cabins by a frozen lake, trust falls, and forced camaraderie. Alex and Ethan shared a room, the air thick with pine and unspoken tension. That first night, around the bonfire, Victor clapped Ethan on the back, too familiar, his laugh booming. "Our golden boy," he slurred, winking at the group. Alex forced a smile, but inside, nausea churned. Later, in the dim cabin light, Ethan confessed fragments. "Victor's pushing hard. This deal, it's everything." Alex pressed. "And us? Are we part of the everything?" Ethan's eyes flickered. Guilt? Fear? Before he pulled Alex down, silencing questions with lips and hands. It was tender, almost frantic. But as they lay spent, Alex whispered, "Tell me the truth. All of it." Ethan sighed, tracing patterns on Alex's chest. "It's complicated. He knows about us. Said it'd be handled if I deliver." The words hung poisonous. Handled. Like a liability. Alex bolted upright, betrayal igniting. "You're trading me for a corner office?" Ethan reached for him, pleading, "No, it's strategy. Protect what we have." But the lie reeked, and Alex stormed into the night, boots crunching frost, the lake a black mirror reflecting his rage. He didn't return until dawn, finding Ethan huddled by the fire pit, eyes red-rimmed. "I can't do this halfway," Alex said, voice steady despite the shatter inside. "Love or the game? Choose." Ethan stood, closing the distance, hands framing Alex's face. "You. Always you." They clung there, the choice a fragile bridge. But as the sun rose, Alex wondered if bridges burned as easily as they built. December arrived like a thief, blanketing Manhattan in snow that muffled the city's roar but amplified the silence between them. Alex threw himself into work, burying doubts under spreadsheets and client calls. But Ethan's presence was a constant pull. Across the floor, in meetings where their eyes met like magnets, sparking despite the chill. They navigated a fragile truce. Lunches in the park, bundled against flurries, where Ethan spun tales of post-deal escapes. A cabin in Vermont, just us and the snow. and Alex wanted to believe, clinging to the man who'd made him feel seen. But Victor's shadow loomed larger. The merger talks heated, boardroom whispers turning to shouts, and Ethan was at the epicenter. His desk piled with redacted files, his smile a mask Alex no longer trusted. One evening, after a grueling pitch, Victor cornered Alex in the elevator. "Caldwell speaks highly of you," he said, eyes gleaming like a predator's. "Loyalty's rare these days. Don't squander it." The doors dinged open, leaving Alex adrift, the word loyalty echoing like an accusation. That night, over takeout in Alex's apartment, fortune cookies and General Tso's, Ethan cracked open, vulnerability spilling like wine. "He's pressuring me. About everything. Us, the network idea. Says it'll complicate things." Alex's fork clattered. "And you? What do you say?" Ethan's gaze dropped. "I say no. But God, Alex, the stakes." He trailed off, reaching for Alex's hand. And in that touch, forgiveness bloomed anew. They made love slowly, rediscovering each other in the flicker of candles, whispers weaving promises. "We'll fight this together." Holiday lights twinkled as Christmas neared, transforming the city into a glittering labyrinth. Ethan surprised Alex with tickets to the Nutcracker at Lincoln Center, their seats close enough for thighs to press, the ballet's grace mirroring their tentative dance. Afterward, strolling Fifth Avenue amid carolers and Saks windows aglow, Ethan stopped under the plaza's marquee. "Marry me," he said suddenly, not on bended knee but earnest, snowflakes catching in his lashes. "Not now, but someday. Build that life." Alex's breath caught, tears blurring the lights. "Yes," he whispered, sealing it with a kiss that tasted of peppermint and forever. But joy is fleeting in glass towers. New Year's Eve loomed, a countdown to revelations. The office party at the Rainbow Room was opulent, chandeliers dripping crystal, champagne flutes clinking like conspiracies. Alex arrived solo, Ethan delayed by a last-minute brief. Victor held court, arms slung around Ethan's empty chair, regaling tales of conquests. When Ethan slipped in late, flushed and tie-askew, he slid beside Alex, murmuring apologies into his ear. "Worth it," he added cryptically, squeezing Alex's knee under the table. As midnight approached, the crowd surged, Auld Lang Syne swelling. Ethan pulled Alex to the balcony, city fireworks exploding in kaleidoscope fury. "To us," he toasted, clinking glasses, but his eyes darted nervous, evasive. Alex leaned in, voice lost in cheers. "What aren't you telling me?" Ethan paled, but the kiss that followed drowned the question. Deep and devouring, bodies pressed against the railing as resolutions bloomed below. January thawed the snow but not the ice in Alex's veins. The merger closed with fanfare. Bonuses announced. Ethan promoted to associate director in a blur of handshakes and backslaps. Victor beamed like a proud father, pulling Ethan aside for a private word. Alex watched from afar, champagne turning sour, the promotion's gleam masking something rotten. That night, celebrating at their favorite speakeasy, dim bulbs and velvet booths, Ethan was electric, toasting new beginnings. But midway through his second whiskey, his phone vibrated insistently. He glanced, face draining of color, and excused himself to the alley. Alex followed minutes later, pushing through the door to find Ethan pacing, voice low on the call. "I handled it. Okay? Just back off." He hung up, spotting Alex, guilt flashing like a struck match. "Who?" Alex demanded, wind whipping their coats. Ethan's shoulders slumped. "Victor. It's nothing, old leverage from the deal." But the pieces clicked. The absences, the discretion, the handled promises. "Leverage," Alex echoed, voice rising. "Like me? Like us?" Ethan reached out, but Alex recoiled. "Tell me everything or we're done." The confession tumbled out in fragments, raw and ragged. Victor had known about Ethan since Boise. A faded scandal, a payoff to bury a college hookup gone public. "He funded my NYU tuition," Ethan admitted, eyes downcast. "In exchange for silence." When he hired me here, it was strings attached, favors, discretion. Then you. God, Alex, you were the first real thing. I told him no more, but the merger. He trailed off, tears carving tracks in the cold. I leaked a competitor's bid. Minor, deniable. To seal it. For the promotion. For us. Betrayal hit like a freight train, Alex staggering back against the brick. You broke laws for a title? And what about me? Collateral? Ethan's pleas blurred into sobs. I did it to protect you, to build something stable. But the words rang hollow, trust shattering like dropped glass. Alex turned, walking into the night, the city swallowing him whole. Days blurred into a haze of avoidance. Sick days called in, emails unanswered. Alex holed up in his apartment, scrolling old Polaroids, each snapshot a knife twist. Beach grins, balcony hugs, conch shell proposals. Friends rallied, brunch interventions at Sarabeth's, where his best friend Mia, a fiery lesbian lawyer, urged, dump the liar. You're worth more than his ambition. But love is a stubborn weed, rooting deep, and Alex wavered, haunted by Ethan's voicemails. I love you. Let me fix this. The confrontation came mid-month, Ethan cornering him in the office kitchen, door locked against prying eyes. Hear me out, he begged, blocking the exit. Alex's fists clenched. You used me. For what? A plaque on your door. Ethan's face crumpled. I was scared. Of losing everything, family, future, you. Victor preyed on that. But I ended it. Resigned this morning. Alex blinked, stunned. Resigned? For what? For truth, Ethan said, voice breaking. I can't climb if it buries us. Start over somewhere real. Portland, maybe. Queer-owned firm. No sharks. The offer hung, a lifeline or a noose. Alex searched his eyes, seeing the boy from Boise, vulnerable and true. Prove it, he challenged. Walk away clean. No goodbyes, no deals. Ethan nodded, sealing it with a forehead kiss. Chaste, aching. I will. For you. February's chill deepened as Ethan vanished from Sterling and Voss. His desk cleared like a ghosting. Rumors swirled. Burnout, headhunted. But Alex knew the cost. Severed ties, Victor's fury echoing in passive-aggressive memos. Alone in meetings, Alex felt the void. Ambition's thrill soured by isolation. Yet in quiet moments, hope flickered. Texts from Ethan in transit. Portland scouting. Miss your laugh. Valentine's found Alex adrift. A solo gallery crawl in Soho. Rothko's reds bleeding like open wounds. His phone buzzed. Ethan. A photo of a cozy cafe. Caption. Our spot? Heart-twisting, Alex replied. Maybe. Spring teased with crocuses. And Ethan returned. Leaner, lighter, apartment hunting in Brooklyn. They met neutral, coffee at Devotion. Steam rising like fragile peace. I sold the conch, Ethan said softly. Donated the proceeds to the network you pitched. Anonymous. Alex's throat tightened. Why? Because you were right. Love isn't a game. The words bridged the chasm, tentative steps toward mending. As March bloomed, so did their reconciliation. Slow, deliberate, like thawing earth. Ethan landed a gig at a nonprofit financial consultancy in the village, crunching numbers for LGBTQ+ startups. His suits traded for hoodies and purpose. Alex visited one afternoon. The office a rainbow riot of murals and mismatched desks. Volunteers buzzing with ideas that echoed their old dreams. This is it, Ethan said, gesturing wide, eyes alight. No strings, just impact. Alex lingered, fingers brushing as they brainstormed funding models. The spark reigniting not in boardrooms, but in blueprints for change. Evenings wove them closer. Home-cooked pastas in Ethan's new walk-up, a sunlit studio overlooking the East River, where they danced to Coltrane vinyls, bare feet on scuffed floors. Betrayal's scar faded under honesty. Ethan sharing Boise letters he'd burned. Alex admitting jealousy's poison. I thought you'd leave for the shine, Alex confessed one night, rain pattering the skylight. Ethan pulled him close. The shine was fake. You're my north. Laughter returned. tentative then full, in inside jokes and midnight confessions. Work for Alex shifted too, the queer network approved quietly with Ethan as silent architect. Their first meeting in a commandeered conference room drew a dozen souls. Analysts with rainbow socks, admins with pronoun pins. Alex facilitated, heart swelling as stories spilled. Microaggressions, triumphs, the ache of invisibility. Ethan's nod from the back row was anchor enough, pride in his gaze a balm. Spring deepened, cherry blossoms dusting the high line like confetti. They weekend there, picnics of cheese and figs. Ethan's head in Alex's lap as joggers blurred by. Remember Fire Island? Ethan murmured, tracing Alex's palm. That shell. It's gone. But this? He pressed a new token. A simple silver band, etched with coordinates of their first kiss. Promise ring. If you'll have it. Alex slipped it on, tears pricking. Always. But shadows lingered. Victor's vendetta simmered, subtle sabotages. Like Alex's reports misfiled, clients steered away. One April morning, a whisper reached HR. Anonymous tip about fraternization, laced with merger leaks pinned on Ethan. Alex's review tanked, a team fit concern veiled in code. Panic clawed. Was this the cost of truth? He confronted Victor in the exec suite, door ajar. This you're doing? Alex demanded, voice steel. Victor's smile was serpentine. Loyalty, Harper. Caldwell chose poorly. Don't follow. The threat hung, explicit in its vagueness, and Alex left shaking, texting Ethan. We need to talk. Now. They met at their old rooftop, storm clouds gathering like omens. Alex spilled it raw, the sabotage, the fear. Ethan's face hardened. He's bluffing. We document, go to legal. But doubt crept in, a chill wind. What if it's not enough? What if I drag you down too? Alex gripped the railing. We fight. Together. Ethan's nod was fierce, but as thunder rumbled, Alex glimpsed the fracture. Love's test, ambition's echo. The battle escalated subtly. Emails forwarded to compliance. Allies rallied in the network. Mia, Alex's lawyer friend, reviewed docs pro bono, her Brooklyn brownstone a war room of highlighters and takeout. He's cornered, she said, circling clauses. Push back, or he wins. Ethan paced, contributing strategies honed in Boise's backrooms. His past a weapon now, not a chain. Nights blurred into strategy sessions that bled into tenderness. Hands linking over laptops, kisses pausing debates. Climax crested in May, merger anniversary gala at the Met. Black ties and egos, chandeliers mocking the underlit truths. Alex attended Stag, Ethan's invite lost. A petty snub. Mingling amid Rembrandts, he felt eyes. Victor's predatory, across the hall. Heart pounding. Alex cornered him by the Egyptian wing. Obelisk's silent witnesses. End it, Alex said low. Or we expose you, the payoffs, the coercion. Victor's laugh was ice. Proof? Caldwell's word against mine. And yours? Tarnished by association. He leaned in, breath sour. Walk away rich, or crash with him. The ultimatum landed, venomous, but Alex held ground. We're done hiding. Turning, he wove through the crowd, spotting Ethan. Uninvited, slipping in like a ghost, suit rumpled but eyes determined. They met in the garden courtyard, fountains murmuring under stars. I came anyway, Ethan said, breathless. Couldn't let you face this alone. Alex's resolve cracked, pulling him into an embrace fierce as the night. He offered a buyout. Quiet exit. Ethan's grip tightened. Take it? Or us? The choice loomed. A precipice. Security or soul. As guests filtered out, Victor approached, entourage trailing. Dramatic, he sneered. But deal's close, Harper. Sign and poof. Problem solved. Ethan stepped forward, voice steady. No. We're filing. All of it, your history, the threats. The network's backing us. Victor's facade slipped, eyes narrowing to slits. You'll regret this. Both of you. The fallout hit like a squall. Investigations launched, headlines in the Post, Wall Street closet scandal. Exec accused of queer blackmail. Sterling and Voss reeled. Victor suspended pending review. His empire crumbling in leaked memos. Alex and Ethan testified. Hands clasped under tables. Truth a shield. Media frenzy swirled. Interviews dodged. Pickets at the tower. But in the eye, they found steel. Love forged in fire. Summer scorched in, verdant and victorious. Victor resigned in disgrace. A quiet settlement burying bones but not the win. Alex's promotion followed, ironic and earned, leading diversity initiatives with Ethan's counsel. They moved in together, Ethan's studio, Alex's bookshelves merging like lives. Evenings on the fire escape, city humming below, they toasted survivors to truths that set us free. Yet humanism tempered triumph. Ethan reached out to Boise, letters not calls, forgiving without forgetting, planting seeds for mending. Alex's mom hosted a barbecue, grilling Ethan on intentions, her laugh sealing approval. In quiet, they healed. Therapy sessions unpacking betrayal's layers. Weekends volunteering at the center, hands dirty with purpose. One August dawn, on that same Fire Island beach, Ethan knelt again. This time with a ring, simple gold. Marry me, Alex. Not despite the storm, but because of it. Waves crashed approval, and Alex, tears salting the sand, whispered, yes, 1,000 times. Their wedding was small. Autumn leaves in Central Park, Mia officiating with wit, friends toasting under oaks. Vows echoed Whitman. I give you myself, Ethan said, voice thick, band slipping on like destiny. Alex replied, and I receive you whole. The kiss sealed it, cheers rising like dawn. Years folded forward. A brownstone in Harlem, adopted rescue dog named Whitman, careers blooming. Alex at a progressive firm, Ethan founding a queer finance collective. Challenges came. Losses, arguments, the world's grind, but rooted deep, they weathered, love a quiet revolution. In the end, it wasn't perfection, but presence. Two men, scarred and shining, building not empires, but home. And in Manhattan's relentless pulse, that was triumph enough, human, flawed, eternal. As the leaves turned to fire in October's embrace, Alex and Ethan's life settled into a rhythm that felt less like survival and more like symphony. A harmonious blend of shared silences and spontaneous laughter that echoed off the walls of their Harlem brownstone. The dog, Whitman, a scruffy mutt with one ear perpetually cocked, became their furry mediator, curling between them during movie nights when old tensions surfaced like ghosts at a seance. Alex, now heading up equity initiatives at a boutique firm in Midtown, found fulfillment in mentoring young queer analysts, their wide-eyed ambitions a mirror to his own past. Don't let the suits define you, he'd say over coffee, echoing Ethan's long-ago words in the break room. Ethan's collective thrived, a beacon for LGBTQ+ entrepreneurs navigating capital's treacherous waters. Board meetings in lofts overlooking the Hudson buzzed with pitch decks and passion projects. Apps for safe dating in red states, funds for trans-led startups. This is what leverage looks like. Ethan would grin at Alex over dinner, plates of Ethan's experimental vegan tacos steaming between them. Not climbing, but lifting. But humanism demanded reckoning. Thanksgiving brought Ethan's family, or what remained. A tentative email from Boise, we're trying. Doors open. Ethan stared at it for days, the screen's glow casting shadows on his furrowed brow. Alex rubbed his back during those long evenings, Whitman snoring at their feet. You don't have to, Alex said softly. But if you want. Ethan nodded, composing replies that balanced forgiveness with boundaries. No masks, just truth. The visit was awkward. A rented cabin in the Adirondacks midway between worlds. Snow-dusted pines, a stone fireplace crackling against the chill. Ethan's dad, grizzled and gruff, extended a hand that trembled slightly. His mom enveloped Ethan in a hug scented with lavender and regret. Dinner was strained. Small talk about weather and football giving way to halting confessions. We were wrong, his dad muttered over pie, eyes on his plate. Scared of losing you. Ethan squeezed Alex's knee under the table, voice steady. You didn't lose me, but you can't pick and choose who I am. Tears fell, not in torrent but trickle, and by weekend's end, bridges mended. Not whole but passable, a start. Alex's own family grew too. His mom, ever the matriarch, insisting on monthly queer potlucks, where her queen's neighbors mingled with their circle, rainbow flags fluttering from fire escapes. Love's the great equalizer, she'd declare, passing deviled eggs, her pride a quiet force that humbled Alex anew. Winter's grip loosened into spring's promise, their first anniversary marked by a return to the press lounge. Same corner table, but now with rings glinting under the lights. Ethan ordered champagne, toasting, "To the night that almost broke us." Alex clinked glasses, eyes misty. "And the man who rebuilt it." The kiss lingered, unhurried, the city below a testament to endurance. Challenges persisted, as life insists. A funding drought hit Ethan's collective, layoffs looming like storm clouds. Alex's firm faced a hostile takeover, echoes of Sterling's greed. Sleepless nights returned, arguments flaring over budgets and burnout. "We can't save everyone," Alex snapped one evening, exhausted from pro bono hours. Ethan shot back, "But we have to try. That's us." Whitman whined from the couch, diffusing with a slobbery intervention, and they'd collapse laughing, apologies whispered in the dark. Therapy became ritual, a queer-affirming counselor in the village, sessions unpacking betrayal's residue. "Trust rebuilds in layers," she said, and they peeled them back. Ethan's fear of abandonment rooted in Boise's rejection. Alex's armor forged from corporate closets. Vulnerability bloomed. Ethan admitting panic attacks during the scandal. Alex confessing loneliness in the aftermath. "You're my safe harbor," Alex said one session, hand in Ethan's, the words a vow renewed. Summer sang them into adventures. A road trip upstate, tent pitched by Finger Lakes, stars wheeling overhead as they traced constellations, bodies entwined in sleeping bags. "Remember the Catskills?" Ethan murmured, "Fireflies dancing." Alex chuckled. "How could I forget? You in that ridiculous beanie." Laughter faded to seriousness. "We almost lost this." Ethan's finger traced Alex's ring. "Never again." Back in the city, they mentored a kid from the center, Javier, 22, fresh out and fierce, interning at the collective. His wide grin at their wedding stories lit rooms, a reminder of legacy. "You guys are goals," he'd say, and Alex would ruffle his hair, heart full. "Just be you, kid. That's enough." Fall circled back, their second anniversary quiet. A home-cooked feast, jazz on the turntable, Whitman begging scraps. As rain tapped windows, Ethan pulled an envelope from his pocket. "For us." Inside, adoption papers exploratory for a future family. Alex's breath hitched. "You sure?" Ethan nodded, eyes soft. "With you? Absolutely." The journey stretched, paperwork mountains, home studies, the ache of waiting lists. But in the waiting, they grew. Volunteering at shelters, reading parenting books aloud like bedtime stories, dreaming names under covers. When approval came, a snowy December day, they held each other in the agency lobby, tears freezing on cheeks. "Our family," Alex whispered, and Ethan kissed his temple. "Ours." Life's tapestry wove on, twists of joy and grief. Ethan's dad visiting for pride, tentative steps toward acceptance. Alex's mom battling illness, her bedside ringed by their love. In her final days, she gripped their hands. "You made me proud, boys. All of you." Her passing carved hollows, but filled them with resolve. A foundation named in her honor, scholarships for queer youth. Years layered like city sediment. Javier's graduation, speeches thanking the dads who showed me home. Their own child's first steps, tiny hands in theirs. Ethan's book on ethical finance, bestseller in niche circles. Conflicts arose. Teen rebellions, career crossroads, but rooted in that rooftop choice they navigated, love the compass. In the quiet of middle age, gray threading temples, they'd revisit the Hudson's edge, hands linked against the wind. "Worth the storm?" Ethan would ask, ever the romantic. Alex, leaning into him, would smile. Every drop. For in America's vast, flawed heart, where rainbows arch over concrete jungles and truths emerge from shadows, their story endured. Not flawless, but fiercely human. A testament that love, once claimed, reshapes worlds.